WhatsApp chat. Welcome inside another edition live of Target Score Vancouver podcast. Wow, what a big show we got today, coming off a massive win for the Vancouver Bandits on Sunday afternoon. I almost said national television, but things got switched up. We had to move the game to 2 o'clock Pacific time. And yeah, Winnipeg, travel issues, and you could tell. And the key to that game for the Vancouver Bandits was run, run, run. And obviously that was the message to the team. And, you know, it paid dividends. 114-90 over the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Thank you for joining us tonight. Target Score Vancouver, at Target Score Pod on Instagram. Subscribe, do your thing on YouTube. Savory, what are your thoughts quickly on the game?
Love to see it. Down a couple bodies. Obviously, no Karnik, no Tyree Samuel. In comes Steven Zimmerman, and a huge performance from Mychal Muder off the bench. Great stuff for the Bandits heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, good segue right there. There's a good podcast host. Let's bring on Mychal Muder. I talked to him briefly this afternoon and said we got to get you on after a performance like that. We had him for a sec. There he is, fresh out of the barber chair. Thanks so much for doing this, man. You're getting your playoff hair all ready to go.
What's going on, fellas? Chris, I'm having a hard time hearing you, brother. I don't know.
Okay. Savory, you want to try?
Yeah, Mike, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you good.
1, 1, 2. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Savory. You can start if you want while I can.
All right,
yeah.
perfect.
Okay.
So, Mike, I got to ask, obviously, season high in scoring for you. You come in, obviously drop in 29 points, unconscious, only missed one shot, 11 of 12. What's it like as a shooter when you're in the zone, and what was going through your mind on Sunday?
Yeah, I felt like we had a good rhythm overall. It was obviously a good shooting night. But yeah, I felt like our pace was really good. And I think we made a really good effort on defense and turning defense into offense. I think that that really allowed me to get good shots, good opportunities on the offensive end of the floor. And obviously with Shamar playing the way that he did, he had 18 assists, and he was really responsible for a lot of those threes for me. And I think also something that goes unnoticed, doesn't go on the stat sheet, but Big Zim, he's setting good screens, man. I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's really hard to get around one of those screens. And when you got him on the floor, he's getting guys open and doing all the dirty work for us and making it easy for us. So it was pretty good that day.
Mike, can you hear me now or no? No, you can't. All right. No, you can't hear me. Damn. All right. I had a good question lined up too. Keep going, Savory. We'll figure it out.
All right, we'll keep rocking it. Maybe unplug it back in. We'll see what happens. But Mike, obviously, that was a big game. It was a fight for top in the West. Now you guys preparing for Edmonton tomorrow. Talk to us about the game plan. Obviously, head coaching change throughout the year. Kyle's in market right now, which is kind of a cool boost to the morale. But Ransford really embracing the role and taking on that head coach label. You guys are ascending at the right time. What's the vibe in the locker room ahead of a big game tomorrow night?
Yeah, the vibes are high, man. Rans has done a great job over the last few weeks. It's been ups and downs the last month or so. And I think he's done a great job at getting the guys ready for this point of the season. And we feel like we're prepared. We've done our homework. We're doing everything we need to do day in and day out to make sure we have a good showing for tomorrow and going into these playoffs strong. So I think the momentum is good. The vibes are high. And we're all really excited to get the playoffs started.
And in terms of playing against Edmonton this year, you guys have a 2-2 record. You beat them on their court a couple times, and obviously they've won also at LEC. Edmonton kind of on the downturn heading into the playoffs, 1-4 in their last 5, but you don't want to mess around. What's about their roster that maybe is a little bit trickier? What do you have to game plan for?
Yeah, without giving too much away, I think that just making sure that we hit our assignments. Like you said, they had a couple struggles recently, but I think that going into playoffs, it's really important for us to just focus on us and executing at a high level and doing what we need to do to succeed. Regardless of who's in front of us, it's going to really come down to us playing well on defense and knocking out assignments game in and game out. So that's really what it's going to be about, and that's what we're focused on.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yes,
there you
no?
go, Chris.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. I don't even know what you asked him, Savory, but Mike, man, I said it on the broadcast. We've been waiting for a Mychal Muder breakout performance like that. How great was it to see all those shots go down? And actually the one where Shamar went to Jarrell and Jarrell let it fly kind of right in the middle of your streak there. You were like wide open on the trail too, so it kind of could have gone both ways.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been waiting for one of those too. I'll tell you that. But I think that it's really just a testament to staying ready, finding my rhythm this summer has been important to me. And we've done all the work behind the scenes to make that happen. So it was good to have that come to fruition. And, obviously having the right guys at the right time. I think when you mentioned Jarrell, it's been really important having him. I don't know if you guys know that, but I played with Jarrell like a decade ago in Windy City.
Windy City, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of like a veteran presence to me back then. It's funny, like almost 10 years later, we still kind of have like that same type of motion. So it's been really good having him as well as Mitch back. Now me and Dwayne don't got to be the old guys on the team right now. So that's been nice. And, I think that we have a really good rhythm. Just as an entire group, I think that we're really playing together right now and sharing the ball, and everybody's ready to step up when their number's called. So I think that's been important.
Yeah, you mentioned Shamar kind of right off the top of the conversation, just how great he's been at creating some shots for everybody. With Jarkel down with a hamstring injury, not really sure if he's going to go tomorrow. How great has it been for Shamar to perform the way he has to carry you guys kind of through the Western Conference, the playoffs here?
Yeah, it's been great, man. Obviously, we want Jarkel back, and we're hoping for that. But Shamar was ready, and he's had a next man up mentality. I think that he came in super ready to show that he's been working as hard as anyone behind the scenes. And if you guys have watched any practice, you can really tell that black versus orange, it gets gritty in there. And I think that's what's important. Being able to have the 1-2 punch. A guy goes to the bench and the next guy comes in, fills that position, and it's just another strong guy ready to go to war. So I think Shamar's been like picture perfect in that aspect, and has stepped up when his number's been called now. And it's been fantastic playing with him. And I think he'll continue to do that tomorrow.
And maybe talking about that next man up mentality. This team, obviously, you were without Tyrese and without Karnik on Sunday. But even in the second half, we saw Mudabazi a little bit in the first half of the season, but in the second half, Dwayne's had some issues as well. But in comes John Knight III, really seeing his minutes increase in the second half. And sometimes, obviously, his stats might not blow you away, but it's a big buzzer beater 3 to end a quarter. Maybe it's a hustle play or a layup. What have you seen from John as the season's gone on?
Yeah, I think you guys have noticed he's been a key player for us, in the last few weeks. And honestly, he's been a key player for us all year. It's just that now his number's been called. He's been getting a little bit more reps, a little bit more court time, and he's just being able to show that what he's capable of doing. You go up and down the roster, and every single guy is going to say they love playing with John Knight, and myself included. I think that we play really well together, and I love having him to rely on defense, especially. He brings a toughness that I think a lot of players have a hard time getting to that level, and he brings it every day. So I'm not surprised at all that when he comes into the game, he's an impact guy, and I think that he's been that guy all year, and he'll continue to be that guy for us through the playoffs.
Mychal Muder on the show tonight. Thanks for joining us. 29 points in 27 minutes of action against the Winnipeg Sea Bears at LEC on Sunday. Is this team peaking right at the right time, Mike?
I think so, man. I think it's important, to peak at the right time. Obviously, you want to play good throughout the entire season, throughout the entire summer. But being able to peak at the right time, like you said, coming into August, we want to be playing our best basketball, and I think that we're able to do that right now. We're doing that on offense as well as on defense, and I think, like you said, the vibes are high, man, and peaking at the right time is the perfect way to put it. Just being able to take advantage of every opportunity that's in front of us and stack good days, one day in front of the next, and see where that lands us.
And earlier in the season, you already joined the show once, Mike, so appreciate your time again. But you were talking to us about the recruiting story, obviously how KJ brought you on board, what you were looking to get out of your CBL experience. Obviously, the season's not done, still a long way to go. But what has the year been like so far, and what are your impressions of obviously being part of the Bandits organization and traveling to all these different markets across the country?
Yeah, it's been great, man. It's been a hectic summer. All the every team has some turbulence throughout a season, and I think we've had our fair share of ours. But you can really tell that Vancouver, being in Vancouver with the Bandits, it's been super good for me and the rest of the guys. I think that we do as good a job as anybody, if not the best job in the entire CBL, at making sure guys are happy, making sure there's always somebody available to get work in. We're just taken care of in a different way than I see at other teams. So it's been fantastic. Really, I got nothing but good things to say about the CBL, and I've been fortunate to be in this situation here in Vancouver. I really, coming back off the year off and everything, I think that this is like the perfect scenario for me. And I can't imagine it happening somewhere else. So I'm been really happy to be here.
Last one for me, Mike. Obviously, Edmonton has beaten you guys a couple of times. Maybe have your number this year. What challenges do they present you guys?
They present us a ton of challenges when it comes to just a level of focus. I think that they execute some plays pretty well. They got a couple key guys that we need to lock in on, and I think those are our main challenges. But like I said earlier, I think as usual, our main challenge is going to be ourselves, just being able to knock out assignments, focus in on who does what, and execute the game plan properly, and just making sure that I think some of those times that we played, I could say that we beat ourselves. And I think that in the last month or so of the season, we've done a lot better job at not doing that. So I think that just staying focused and being ready to execute assignments is going to be key for us.
Well, I'll jump in. Last time you played Edmonton, Mike, it was a big bounce back win on the road. You dropped 25. So excited to see how things go tomorrow night. But I guess maybe a last kicker. You've been at Langley Event Center, obviously, for the entire home games of all throughout the season. Now it's going to be a packed playoff crowd. I don't know how much exposure you might have had to the Vancouver fan base and affinity for basketball. Obviously, we had the Grizzlies once before, but maybe what's your message to the fans? What does this market mean to you? Any surprises with how popular basketball is here, and what's it like game in, game out with one of the best fan bases in the league?
Man, I think my first message to the fans would just be that how much we appreciate you guys. They pack out the LEC every game, and I think that energy has been super important for us and being able to win games at home. So I hope that they continue to do that throughout the playoffs. We want to keep making sure that they have opportunity to come get excited for us. It gets us excited. It's the reason why we get out of the bed, and that's my main message, is that we appreciate y'all and just make sure that it's loud tomorrow.
Looking for our sixth straight sellout tomorrow at LEC. Man, it's going to be loud in there. Appreciate your time, and let's see you do it again tomorrow, okay?
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. There is Mychal Muder. Thanks for joining us. There he goes. And a big game tomorrow, of course, round one of the Western Conference playoffs, semifinals against the Edmonton Stingers. And, of course, Winnipeg on the other side, they've got the Saskatoon Mamba. Feels like it's been a bit since we've done a pod here, Savory, and nice to be back on the airwaves here. And so big news today out of the CEBL, of course, the suspensions with the Scarborough Shooting Stars and the Brampton Honey Badgers. Maybe your thoughts quickly on some of the suspensions there.
Yeah, lots of discussion on social and just huge news across the board this week. Obviously, some tough tempers boil over. They had to be swift with getting this out there. So it's good for the fans to see the transparency, but an unfortunate night in Scarborough for sure.
Yeah, well, we're going to get a look here. Producer Joey just all over it. Look at this. Nice. They're not a great scene. And benches clearing, rumors of some back hallway tunnel stuff happening as well. So, don't know how valid that is. If I'm being honest, I thought it was pretty weak in terms of, the suspensions and how many games each of these players got. I thought Miles Powell was a little bit seen. And speaking of Winnipeg too, crazy stuff happening in Winnipeg. Emmanuel Acott. Who else just left? Jeremiah Tillman. Thank you. Yeah, Jeremiah Tillman's gone.
They brought in Ben Stevens.
Yeah.
Big Ben.
You don't really know what's happening over in Winnipeg too, and you feel for their fan base. Teddy Allen, you just wish that he's okay as a human being first. Teddy is Teddy. I mean, I'll be honest. Let's not sugarcoat anything. Teddy sometimes can find trouble. I'm not suggesting Teddy was completely innocent. He's at a bar late at night after getting blown out by 30. So, it's tough. It's tough. It's been a tough week for the CEBL, man. And playoffs are going to be a nice switch of energy, I think.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of storylines abound. And when you're talking about single game knockout, anything can happen. And it's already being talked about in the locker rooms. Teams know that a few squads are without their top dogs. Obviously, like you said, Scarborough gets to have Miles Powell, but someone like the Lion King himself, Khalil Ahmad, is probably saying, hey, there's no Frank Mitchell in the paint. I'm going to be attacking it the entire night. I think Javen Johnson as well hit some big threes throughout the season. I think him as a complimentary piece. We saw his name in that best release that was screenshotted. Tough loss for Scarborough. And for Winnipeg, obviously kind of down the stretch, they're facing a Mamba team that was 4-1 in its last 5 and is coming in winning 3 straight. And credit to Isaiah Fox, the Mamba, a little bit of a rocky start, but the second half for Saskatoon, really impressive. And I think a great debut year for Isaiah Fox as a head coach in the CBL. So want to give some flowers where they're due. I think that's a tricky team to handle, setting a franchise record for wins. And guys, giving the Bandits some tough punches as well recently at LEC. That was a tough target score to finish off against the Mamba. I think anything can happen right now. I think Ottawa's even tricky. We've seen Cleveland and the Harmons go off. There's a lot of storylines. And then we've already talked about on the broadcast yourself, Cheryl and I, definitely the most competitive CBL season to date in terms of the parity between the teams, or equality, if you will. You just look at the logjam in the East, and I don't think people should be fooled by Scarborough's 20-4 record. I think they're a team that's gotten away with some comebacks, especially in target score. They've had some clutch game winners, and we'll see if there's any oil leaking tomorrow.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on what Edmonton? I know I asked Mike the same question, but like, what are your thoughts on some of the challenges that Edmonton presents? Like, you know, they've got the season series so far over Vancouver, right? And you know, Nick.
I think they're 2-2, are they not?
Are they 2-2? Are they 2-2?
2-2?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My bad. That would make sense, I guess, because we do play each other 4 times each conference. So, or at least in their same conference anyway. Yeah. What are your thoughts on what Edmonton can present in terms of challenges for Vancouver tomorrow?
Well, basically Vancouver in terms of 3-point percentage are a little bit down against Edmonton, sub 40 at 36%. They're down in field goal percentage, 43.5. So Edmonton has a tendency to lock them down a little bit. Also holds Vancouver to less than 100 points a game. So it's going to be something where I think Baker is going to be playing matchups. He's going to be looking for the upper hand and when he can get there. I think they're going to have to be really responsible on how the foul situation plays out. Obviously, maybe you have an update on the status of a Tyrese or a Karnik. I think obviously having Zimmerman come in as insurance, which was originally intended for the departure of Dominic Parolin. Yeah. I just want to give Dominic Parolin a shout out. What a debut rookie season without his services. But no Dom, you have Zimmerman. We'll see what the play is with Karnik and Samuel. But if they get a couple bigs in foul trouble, that could be tricky. And I think you need a full 30-minute game, at least 25 from a Lloyd Pandy on a defensive stopper. Pandy's going to pick up the best guard. I don't know who they're going to put him on. I think Tate Donald has given the Bandits problems at times. He just seems to shoot the lights out, higher than his usual season percentages at the guard position. And who is it? Stanley Davis Jr. as well. I think it'd be really tricky off the bench. Athletic, kind of highlight reel material, and kind of get going in a pressure cooker type, let the shots fly and hit 3 in a row, and all of a sudden you're down 10. They got to stop the runs. Bigs can't get into foul trouble, and Pansy needs to put on the clamps. Is going to be the key for Vancouver.
Let's talk about Nick Hornsby for a little bit as well. I was talking to Doug, their play-by-play announcer, Doug McLean in Edmonton, and he was saying that, look, Hornsby has all the accolades in Edmonton, right? He leads the franchise in points, rebounds, assists, probably steals, I think, too, up there. Top 10. I'm pretty sure he leads the league in rebounding too of all time. You know, so he's got the accolades. He's just missing one, and that's a championship. And so, you know, even his head coach and GM Jordan Baker's got a championship. I think assistant coach
2.
He's got 2. Adika Peter McNeely's got 1. You know, Xavier Moon, when he was in Edmonton's got a couple. So that's the one thing that's kind of eluding Nick Hornsby. And they've got a ring of honor. I didn't know this. They've got a ring of honor in Edmonton. Brody Clark's already up there. I would imagine Jordan Baker's going to be next. You know, probably you throw Xavier Moon up there too, and then Nick Hornsby as well. But you know, that one thing that eludes him is that championship.
Yeah, Hornsby, I really see him as like Vancouver can't get caught napping. I think Edmonton's going to come in. And they're going to try and put their stamp on the game immediately in the first quarter. I think they're going to try and shock Vancouver, get ahead early. And I think that's where Vancouver has to be careful to not be their own worst enemy. This is a team that when they're searching, you've seen it in target score, ball gets a little bit stuck. You see some isolation basketball, threes aren't falling. All of a sudden you're doing side steps, step backs, all that sort of thing. I think if you start playing that way, Vancouver's going to have a really tough night, and Edmonton can pull off the upset. But if they stick to the game plan, the way you did a terrific call as play-by-play against Winnipeg, they come out and they just turn it into a sprint and they say, hey, you know what? Ball's in Shamar's hands. Try to keep up. I think some magic could happen at LEC.
Yeah, I mean, I in my opinion, Shamar's game is much much better than last season. I'm not saying that he wasn't productive last season, but I think it's a big improvement from last season. Of course, I talked to Kyle about it at practice yesterday, and he was like, "I knew he was this good all along. That's why I tried to sign him, the last two times." And is it really a dramatic improvement? Is that really true? And then I talked to Mitch, and Mitch was like, "It's night and day." Like his game, he's just got Mitch is just so how Mitch talks, right? And Mitch was like, think about Picasso, think about Van Gogh. He puts this artistic style into his new, he's polished his game, and he's precise, and he's made this artistic, signature on his game, which is just very Mitch Creek to say it that way. But it's true. Like, he creates, he recreates, he Nash dribbles, he's out the other side. He drives and kicks. He does all that stuff. And yes, LEC will be very loud tomorrow. The 604 podcast, Ren's at practice today, taking it in and doing my homework for me. I know he sent a message into our group chat, so appreciate the help, Ren's. But yeah, man, I really, really like where Shamar's game's at. You could argue that he could be sixth man of the year too. Just with the production he's had in Vancouver. So yeah, I mean, it'll be cool. Jarkel, not really sure if Jarkel's going to go tomorrow. I know there's a hamstring issue, so that will probably be a game time decision. I would imagine it'll be Shamar, just because, maybe precautionary. It is playoffs, but you expect to win. They probably are the favorite. They are the favorite tomorrow. So, protecting Jarkel for maybe the second round. But yeah, I don't know. And I know Karnik won't go. So Tyrese had his wisdom teeth pulled last Thursday. He should be good to go. He was taking contact at practice yesterday as well. So yeah, it'll be good to have Tyrese back. But back to Dom, when I had Levon Kendall beside me on the call, he told me Levon and Rands used to run big man camps. And when Dom was like 14, 15, 16, Dom was in one of these, and he said he related everything about basketball to life. Becoming a man, overcoming adversity, never letting up, never taking your foot off the gas. So I want to talk to Isaac Jack tonight at Stingers practice and be like, hey, what's one word to describe Dave Smart, and see if his answer is identical to Lloyd Pandy's, because, Lloyd was super articulate, and I think that was a fantastic answer. It could be a fun story for tomorrow.
Yeah, honestly, it's been such a pleasure to see some of the BC kids in the league this year. Obviously, a little bit of favoritism from my side, but especially for those who aren't watching, it's Canada basketball. I think U17 and U15 nationals for boys and girls right now. So if you're looking for the next generation of potential CBL talent, definitely turn into nationals. BC trying to make its push, but obviously some of the other provinces playing great as well. And I think for tomorrow, Isaac Jack, he's going to be looked to contain Tyrese Samuel. You said he's looking positive for tomorrow. Jack is a very physical player, bounced around a little bit in D1, played at Buffalo, played at Dayton as well before he went to Pacific. And so when you talk to Isaac, I'd be interested about his journeyman experience throughout D1. He put up good numbers kind of every step of the way. But what that last chapter might have looked like at Pacific, but also what his first year experience in the CBL is as well. And he's probably going to follow, I'd imagine, a pretty similar mold to Dom Perlin. I think Dom's numbers, of course, are a little bit better, but they're both that kind of physical 6'8" to 6'10" type of guy, bruising the post, grab a couple O boards. So really nice piece and a good pickup for Jordan Baker. And I think when you saw the departure of Dane Danger, a huge loss for the Stingers. Obviously, that was weeks and months ago. But it's been a tough year for the Stingers to manage. They've had to bring in pieces. Overall, Hornsby arrived a little bit late. But I think you're going to see a fight. Playoff basketball, the atmosphere, we saw Ren's talking about it in the comments. Anyone can win in a one-game knockout. We've seen the Bandits overcome adversity. We've seen them fall victim to it as well. And I think it's going to be a close game. There's no blowouts in the playoffs. It's very rare, especially with target score. So anything can happen, and whoever wins is moving on to Saturday night.
Your thoughts on Winnipeg and Saskatoon? Talked to Kyle Julius yesterday at practice as well, and I was like, I personally think Winnipeg's toast with all these changes, and Acott and Tillman and Teddy probably is not going to be able to, Teddy probably is not going to be able to come back. Maybe if they win, maybe Teddy's, good to go for the next game. But I highly doubt it, with the injuries he suffered that,
to the jaw and the shoulder.
I thought it was a jaw and a shoulder, maybe a broken jaw and a broken shoulder or something like that, but not pretty. It's funny though. Kyle said Winnipeg is better when it's just one of them, either Xavier or Teddy. They're better. They're better with just one of them.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was gonna say like Xavier Moon legacy game. Obviously, he's had his pieces. Teddy had his big scoring outburst, set a league record. But I think he came in. He's like, this team's been missing a point guard. He said that in his interview with Joey Live, and that's the role he's been adopting. Facilitator. We know he can score. As Joey posted to his story today, X has already signed his next contract overseas to play in Division I Italy and Rome. But if he comes in, you're getting X the scorer more than the playmaker. I think he's just as dangerous because he's going to be like, okay, you don't need 15 and 8 from me. I'm going to give you 25 and 5. So I think he's more than capable. And there's a few pieces that have been a little bit quiet for Winnipeg. I think Isaiah Osborne's game in terms of scoring production, and Joey, please feel free to let us know in the chat. I think his scoring has dropped a little bit with the injection of some of these pieces. Obviously, Jelani Watson-Gale has also not been kind of the same player he was a couple of years ago either. So if the supporting cast steps up and then X has that game where he's like, hey, I'm the alpha, I'm going to drop 30, maybe Winnipeg can pull it out. But who is it for the Mamba? Damari Monsanto. Hopefully I'm not misreferencing that. He had a quiet game against Vancouver, but anyways, had a couple of big games recently. He can fill it up. You got the Bandits. You got a potential, what's the award this year? It's not Rookie of the Year. I forgot the title you're using. Easton Tim has given them some nice minutes as well as one of their young guys, and Jaden Bediako. And they've just looked solid. Like watching the Mamba, they actually play team basketball. It's not just a bunch of isolation buckets. So it'll be tricky. And hopefully Winnipeg can salvage it for their fan base, such a dedicated group, but they'll be in tough.
So who's your pick? You're avoiding the question.
My pick? I didn't know you actually posted. Okay, I apologize. I blanked. Everyone knows I love to ramble. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And I think the Winnipeg fan base has had a few tough blows. They're going to get the emotional win. I'm going to say less than 5 points. Xavier Moon seals the game. And Xavier Moon scores more than 25, less than 30, and Winnipeg's going to take it.
I wish I could show the reaction of producer Joey in the background. He's loving that prediction. Yeah, man. I think Saskatoon is very good. I think they're undercover very good. But it'll be, I mean, look, like you said, it's playoffs, right? Like it'll be a close game for us tomorrow, despite, Vancouver being much more talented. I think it'll be a good game in Winnipeg, but I will take Saskatoon. I will take Saskatoon.
Yeah, I'm answering with my heart, not my brain. My brain wowould take Saskatoon, but my heart's going to give it to Teddy Allen for a hopeful speedy recovery.
Yeah, okay,
and
fair enough.
The Sea Bears fan base.
Fair enough. Sask, by the way, is 6-1 in their last 7 games. Lots of fighting tomorrow, especially if it's a super post-game show. Yeah. Are the playoffs available? No, they're not. They are on. Is tomorrow exclusively TSN? I think it's on both tomorrow, or is it on exclusive both tomorrow? Okay, I thought it was on both tomorrow. Yeah. So, but it is on TSN. Conference finals on CBC TSN. Stat guy Ty, man, just never misses. Never
appreciate
misses.
You, Ty.
Yeah, appreciate you, Ty. I got to get going. I got to get to Stingers practice. Should we wrap this? Any final thoughts before heading into the conference semi tomorrow at LEC?
I'm going to say if there's anyone who hasn't gone on to Show Pass and got their tickets, do it now because they're going fast, on pace to be another sellout. It's going to be a raucous crowd, and this is the big dance. This is what you wait for. So come out, show out, bunch of games, head out to your target score local markets, cheer on Brampton, cheer on Winnipeg, cheer on Vancouver, cheer on the other teams, and just support the CBL, and let's get some great playoff basketball.
Okay, conference semis tomorrow, Western Conference semis. We've got Sask and Winnipeg. We've got Vancouver and Edmonton in the east. We've got Niagara and Scarborough, and then we've got Ottawa and Brampton. No, Ottawa, Brampton, Montreal, Brampton. Correct. Ottawa. All right, thank you for joining us tonight. Conference semis from Vancouver tomorrow at 7 o'clock Pacific time.